19 laps, and you'd imagine when you look at the time there from Alex Lowe's at 36.5, Toprak's going to have quite a few laps faster than that as well. When we see the session analysis at the end of the session, that's where we're really going to be able to see just how strong Toprak's been. It hasn't been one lap. I'd say you're looking at 5 or 6 laps that have been faster than anyone else.
You mentioned previously the crash for Tom Sykes in the second sector earlier on in the session. He made his way back to the pits as Toprak Razgatlioglu proves himself a real master of balance on the front wheel. He's like a performing,
making sure you're being aggressive, trying to win the races, and then everything else will take care of itself. That's what Toprak has said all the way through this season. He wants to win races, everything else will just fall into place. It looks like from the start here in pre-practice 1, he's trying to make sure he does that.
And in fairness, Yamaha appear to have managed that process perfectly. They've said right from the start of the season, we don't want to change anything about Toprak. We know he's got the performance, we know he's got the winning mentality. We want to give him the freedom to
changed an awful lot in terms of how he's approached the season compared to previous years. It's been really impressive to see just how much Toprak's matured over the course of the last few years.
Yes, the work rate has been there for Toprak Razgatlioglu, and the performance with it. He is the fastest man in FP1, our first ever session in World SBK here at the Mandalika International Circuit. And Razgatlioglu 1.5 seconds faster than his nearest rival. That is a stunning margin for that first session. Alex Lowe's second fastest, so a good job on return from surgery and from injury for the number 22 KRT man. Garrett Gerloff third fastest in the end with a late lap for him. Scott Redding fourth. We did see Ducatis up in the 3 of them in the top 5 positions in the mid stages of that FP1, so we know they've got some pace. Redding fourth in the end. Isaac Vinales again appearing up towards the top of the timesheet. It's not the first time he's done that on a Friday, so he'll be satisfied with his start. Bautista, Bassani, Vandermark, Rinaldi and Locatelli round out your top 10. Jonathan Ray just outside the top 10, losing an awful lot of running, only 11 laps for him compared to 21 for the rider who did the most. Toprak Razgatlioglu, stunning stint summary for him as he got out there on 3 occasions with plenty of speed on each of them. Alex Lowe's gradually improving as the session went on. You'd expect that to an extent with a new circuit and the riders still learning the ropes and still finding the way. Likewise for Garrett Gerloff, his fastest lap time coming on his penultimate lap in that second stint. But even second and third fastest, 1.5 seconds to Toprak Razgatlioglu. Cannot get over that margin in the opening session of the weekend, and a weekend that could be a title decider for him. Look at the sector times then. Toprak fastest by 0.4 of a second in sector 1. That's the straight, the braking zone for turn 1 and the first couple of flip-flops, so that alone is 0.4. Sector 2 is a little bit closer, thank goodness for that. Leon Hauslev and Alex Lowe. To be perfectly honest, we've said the middle of the lap, it didn't look as dominant for Toprak. That final sector, though, is going to be one to watch. Razgatlioglu ahead of Lowe's by 1.5 of a second. Here comes sector 4. Don't be surprised, it's going to be a big margin again. 0.3 over Garrett Gerloff, and Isaac Vinales also appearing strongly through there. So Razgatlioglu very much the man to beat, and very close to the ideal fastest lap as well. And all of those times in those sectors will all be from Razgatlioglu as well. Dominant force then in free practice 1. We'll be back for FP2 at the usual time of 3 PM here in Indonesia. You might just want to change your clocks for the rest of the weekend if you're sticking with us from afar.